people. My name is Uzi Alowi. Welcome to the Uzi Alowi channel here on YouTube. Tonight we'll be discussing part two. Let me give you a brief introduction to it. The Valley of Dry Bone part two is going to be a speaking engagement that's going to be done by Chief Naphtali Ben Don and Rabbi Chief Binyamin Ben Binyamin. They are going to be talking about the state of Black America and bring forth certain points and edify people on certain things that's going on within the system. Things to keep us as a people straight, united, and to also help us out as we go along in this struggle. So we definitely hope that you will join us on March 19th as those brothers will bring forth some knowledge and some understanding. Let me start sharing on all the social media. Let me see here. Waiting for the brothers to come on this moment. So I share the link again to anyone that wants to come on. Let them know we are on live. We are on live. So like I said, the state of Black America, our conditions and the things we go through as Black people, all of the different circumstances that we go through, as the people of the Creator. Here in America. Waiting for my two guests to come on. Waiting for them to enter into the room. So we could start with our stream. Well, no, the stream is already up. So we could start with what we have to do with our stream. Still waiting to see. I hear somebody's in the room. Who's that?
It's Chief Nap.
Hey, how you doing, Chief?
Chilling. Tired, but I'm chilling.
You're tired, but you're chilling.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm still waiting for, I don't know if Chief Binyamin is going to get on, but I'm still waiting for him.
All right.
So yeah, while we here, we could I guess we could start up the Valley of Dry Bones part two, which is a Amzadik DCB production. Will be held at Restoration Plaza in Brooklyn, New York on Fulton Street, March 19th. Not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. We will be there in the What's the name of the room again?
Multi-purpose room, the room on the first floor.
The room on the first floor. So we'll be there. Bring in the Valley of Dry Bones Part 2, the State of Black America. Our brother Chief Naphtali wasn't able to finish out his or start his dissertation in Valley of Dry Bones Part 1. So we needed to bring Part 2 so that we could bring it to the listening public and to everyone that's interested. That's the Valley of Dry Bones Part 2, March 19th. So I don't know if I have to cover something else in regards to the information. It will start from 3 p.m., I believe, to 7 p.m. From 3
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Eastern time. And we just hope that everybody will come out and support. If you're on right now, just share the link. Let everybody know that we're on, and that we're definitely we want to build this event because we want people to come out and really understand what's going on. There's so many things that have happened since the last time we had the original Valley of Dry Bones Chief, that I don't know if you're gonna be able to cover everything that just happened from that point in time until now. You want to chime in on
that? I mean, we had this election, and I think when we were doing the part 1, everything was still up in the air. I don't even know if Trump was the appointed Republican candidate for the presidency at that time. But he won. And with that being said, there were a lot of good things about it and bad things about it. I think the good thing about it was that Black people decided not to go for the okey doke, the Democratic Party, that we just didn't, fall in love with Hillary like that, when we decided to reserve our vote. But at the same time, with us reserving our vote, it seems like we have a lot of work to do because, as you know, things started to happen when he got elected. The stock and the stock in the private prison industry began to rise. So as Obama was starting to, under the Obama administration, a lot of that started to fade away, and a lot of people started to divest prison labor. It seems under his first couple of months as a president, companies are reinvesting in private prison labor. That means that they expect to go to prison. So there's a lot of things we have to be keen on, we have to be diligent about, we have to be aware of. And oftentimes, the Black man is always being caught with his pants down because he doesn't heed the warning signs. I think what we got to do with this Valley of the Dry Bones is not just an address, but it's more of a action planning event where we are not just going to discuss things, because there's a lot of people that are always lecturing and talking about things, but the action steps are the most important part of any meeting that you have. At the end of the day, what are you going to do? What are your steps to try to solve the crisis? Because they're going to come at you. Has been built off of some form of slave labor since its inception, and they're not going to stop it. How do we prevent our children, our young Black males, and now our young Black females from being caught up in that web of confusion, being led to the slaughter in the prison system? I mean, you got so many people that are in jail, on parole, on probation, in some way, shape, or form. So many of us are connected to that system, system where, it's a crime if you don't support your kids, but now it's a tax, and if you can't afford that tax, you go to jail. they have so many things that you can go to jail for in this day and time and make jail and prison easy for the poor. You know, it's almost to the point where people would rather go to jail because at least they're able to survive. You know, if they go to jail, they can eat, they got a place to sleep. You know, they even get medical coverage while they're in jail. You know, we want to do things to deter that. We want to give our people a chance, and we have to become an independent force. We are we have to operate from the point of view of Black people, you know, and the point of view of Black people is, you know, there's a brother named Irritated Genie. He lectures a lot of times on sodomy and homosexuality and how, you know, sexual deviancy has invaded our community. But one thing he did say that was very clear was that we have to stop comparing ourselves to other people. We are not like anybody else. Our circumstances are not like anybody else's. Our lifestyle is not like anybody else's. What we've been through as a people is not like what anybody else has been through as a people. You know, our Holocaust is not everybody's Holocaust. You know, we've been through Jim Crow, we've been through slavery, we've been through civil rights movement, we've been through COINTELPRO, we've been through all of these things, and we're still trying to find a place of inclusion. And I think that is what's killing us. You know, we have to be independent. We have to kind of take the stance that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad took when he talked about Black people being an independent nation in this country. You know, and I believe independent have to begin to do so for ourselves. The attempts of us doing that, yes, they're going to come at you. They're going to try to take from you like they did before. They're going to try to take your property, whether physical or intellectual. So what we have to do is just be mentally prepared to deal with what's coming down the pipeline, you know. And we want to always make sure we have these forums and these meetings. So what is the next step? Because that's what the adversary does. They're always planning, and you have to plan ahead. You know, they take no breaks, so we can't take breaks either.
All right. I heard you speak about the election and that you were happy that you saw that our people didn't go out and just try to turn your volume down over there or mute your mic while I'm speaking until I come back on, Steve, so we don't get the feedback. I heard you speak about that you were happy that we didn't go out and just voted Democratic, and that as we often do as Black people, we have this affinity to the Democratic Party, and that we didn't just fall for the okie doke. Do you think that do you think at the end that voting Democratic was the lesser of two evils, or do you have an alternative that people could have turned to that would have been better than voting Democratic? Because even if you said Bernie Sanders, he was in the under the Democrats line. So what do you have to say about that, my brother? You got to unmute your microphone. Unmute your microphone. Unmute your microphone.
1, 2. All right. I'm gonna be honest with you. If Jeb Bush would have won and would have ran against Hillary Clinton, I probably would have voted for Jeb Bush. I would have probably voted for a Republican for the first time. My thing was the party. It's about the individual. So if Bernie Sanders didn't win in the primary, the Democratic primary, he didn't win, then right, it didn't make any sense. And what Black people have to do is stop automatic vote. You have to let these parties come and cater to your vote. You know, the powerful part of what the independents did during the election for Bill Clinton Remember, it was George Bush, Ross Perot, and Bill Clinton. They said what the independence power was that their vote was in the air, and they weren't swinging to the Republican side or the Democratic side. So these parties actually had to go and cater to these people. You know, they had to give them what they wanted in order for them to be able to get that vote. We have to be in that same position. The Jewish community, one day they're Republican, next day they're Democrat, next day they're Republican, because they don't vote according to the party. They vote according to their interests and what they can get out of it, who can give them the most. So that's how those things work. We have to start thinking like that. If we had an independent party, and when it comes time for us to um, vote, you know, and let's say we all were part of the Freedom Party, um, they have to sit down at our table. You know, they have to sit down at the table of the party that you have, as opposed to you or them having an automatic vote from you. You know, nobody should ever, especially in America, just automatically have the black vote. You know, shouldn't go that way.
And having the black vote, are you advocating that we create maybe our own party?
We've needed to do that for years, and a lot of people, Leonora Fulani, that's what her whole thing was, to create an independent party when she ran for governor. You know, it wasn't so much about her winning the governorship, it was about her establishing a party. If you establish the Freedom Party, then, you know, you have to get so many. Once that party is established, it's established. So when you look at the ballots and that Freedom Party candidate will always be there, that's a determining factor of how people are going to vote. You know, and people, you know, they have to juggle. Now that we vote Democratic all the time, you have this thing called gerrymandering. People are devising ways to districts for their favor, you know, and a lot of times they're doing this because they know that the rich in districts where there's less people, right? So power in that community. So what they do is they find ways to divvy up certain parts of the community, different districts, and now what you're dealing with is the impact of your vote begins to change based on how you vote, because all of this stuff is being done under your nose. Be careful. That, sad to say, a lot of our black officials, they're sponsored. They're not really black officials. They're not who are for us. They're sponsored by people that are outside of that community, and the money that they get is from outside of our community. And the people, you know, they're being chosen because they fulfill people outside of the community. You know, there's oftentimes other interests. You know, people have monetary interests, business interests, the different things that are going on, and they pick a guy, the best candidate for our districts, for the places that we live. They pick these people to say, yeah, we want you to run, and we'll give you the backing. And if there's backlash, you make you feel it.
You know what? I think what happened during the time that the 8 years that President Obama was in office, the Koch brothers, they did and you have to give them credit for this. They did a brilliant job of using their resources. Because if you remember, they not really for Trump.
Right.
So what they did, you know, I believe they were the start of that Tea Party. They were one of the biggest supporters, I believe. And they what they began to do is they began a grassroots movement as far as going into these towns, like you said, the gerrymandering, the redistricting, where you got areas where you have a majority of a black population, right? You have a greater percentage of black people living in this certain place, but the power is given to the minority, which ends up being the Caucasian vote. And because blacks don't keep on top of things like that, don't go to community board meetings, don't, watch the things that are going on. It happens to them. And then, when you look at this election, it wasn't that Trump won the popular vote. He didn't win the popular vote. You know what I mean? But they won in those little pockets that the Koch brothers kind of invested their money, did things, underneath the not underneath the table. I mean, they did it in the wide open, and they just went about their politics, and they're in control of everything. And I have you have a lot of our people that said, man, voting, why should we vote? Why should we vote? Why should we vote? They ain't nothing but puppets. Obama was nothing but a puppet. He's Illuminati, the whole shebang and all that stuff. What do you say about people like that discredit voting, that don't really care about voting, that feel like voting is a waste of time? What do you have to say about people in situations like that?
Obviously, voting has a lot of impact because they're trying to do everything to prevent. That's why there's laws, felons in a lot of states that come out of jail and they can't vote. There's laws, if you don't have ID, then you can't vote. And they're doing the same thing that they did to us in that pre-civil rights era when we were fighting for our rights to vote. And we were in districts in places like Alabama, Louisiana, where if you can't read, you can't vote. If you can't do this, you can't vote. If you did, you can't vote. You know what I mean? And they always made it difficult, next to impossible, for us to be able to vote, because they already knew that the majority of the people in these places in the South were black. The landscape, the political landscape would actually change if we went and out and voted of our communities. The distribution of wealth. I mean, you may look at as being rich. There's society gave white Americans, or white privileged Americans, a 300-year head start, where they got good schools and we didn't, because they always controlled the money. They got good land, they got grants, they got this, they got that. Because when you pay taxes into the government distributes money out to every state. It allocates to local government. And if that local government is ran by people who are racist, obviously they're going to distribute the money in the way they see fit, which will always be to our detriment and their benefit. So we have to vote. We have to make sure that we exercise our vote, but our vote has to be something that's strong. It has to be enforced. In this country, the Black Panther Party, the original Black Panther, a real political party that was started somewhere in the South. Then that name was picked up by Huey P. Newton and the other brother that founded the party, Bobby.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I seen something with, I believe it was Snick that used the Black Panther symbol first.
Them first, and it was a real political party. Voting party. They wanted you to vote under the Panther and stuff like that. It was a real political party. And we have to remember, these are times when people were actually dying, and for that right to vote, because it meant that they could change it. And listen, society had white people were scared to death for any type of black reason why there was a compromise after the Civil War. Hates to take away the rights of black people if you were to get elected. So people, they make money off of our demise. The exploitation of black people, makes a lot of people in this country rich to keep us down. So that they can benefit is something that they have to do, and voting is part of it. I'm not saying it is the full issue, but it's a part of us controlling us. It's a part of us controlling our politicians, because at the end of the day, the politician is supposed to work for the people. He's elected official for the people. We don't have that nowadays. Like you talked about the Koch brothers. The Koch brothers are doing manipulation in government, and they doing more on a local level than they doing on a high executive level. Local level, they go to schools and they'll pick sides against schools, and they'll support the white people and give money to their campaigns. They'll throw money at a black, you know what I mean? So I watch people who like to play down the middle because give them power. It's how they keep going. Or is divided because if they're divided, focus, don't have the cooperation or the ability to become strong, and then you can't manipulate as you want to. You can't manipulate the black family as much. And my concentration when I on the black family, because I am working on the book. I am working on the book. I'm going to get this one done. The focus of it is that ability of a community is based on strong families, and if the family gets divided, the family, then that generation, even if the child comes out and you say, oh, he had a single mother and he was able to make it, or a single father, there's a lot more to families than just being physically raised. The ability for the child to be stable, go to college, to even inherit wealth is much more 10 times greater than if he had two parents in his household, if he had a stable family. And he would go on of a stable family and stable family. And exponentially, you have a growth of stable families, which would be a stable community, which would be not just a wealthy, stable community. What you want to destroy that community of people that are strong and vibrant and are able to do. At one time in this country, black people with Jim Crow ended. Wealth, and that began to be a problem. 1959, 8 fathers in that household. Income was rising. And you started to have this less integration, which really means I want to control. I want to know what you're doing. I want to know how you make your money. I want to run your education system. I want to make sure that you're indoctrinated. I want to do all of those things to invade your house. So they created poverty programs, welfare programs, social services programs, and after the social services program came the free sex, women's led, all of that stuff that keeps people divided. And you wonder how these things are so exploitative. Now, it's okay for women to have 5 different men, and you can have kids with whoever you want to, and you can abort the children if you want to, all of this stuff. And if a man ain't treating you right, get them out the house, all that crazy stuff, whatever the case may be. And now you have this whole concept where relation that is naturally inherent in marriage is gone. That's what part of that strength is. You want to get rid of that strength because love, strong binding force, and love brings a lot more out besides children. Love brings the ability for people to cooperate, to build houses, to build businesses, because they have that understanding of togetherness. When you destroy that understanding of togetherness exponentially, those kids lose that. You have people who this concept of being independent, and when you have a bunch about I'm independent, you will never get a community out of that. Because to build nothing. Kids grow up selfishness. On people, everything is about you, material wealth. Wealth building happens in the community because one kingdom that was established based on people being independent. One nation empire that was built based on people being independent. Doesn't happen. As long as we have this focus of independence, not freedom, we will still be slaves. If you take two and you have two hamsters in the cage, those two hamsters are still in the cage, but they're together. They made the vows a way to come out and free themselves, do whatever, but they together. You know, they wake up together, they cooperate, they do what they got to do. There's a greater chance that something will happen with those two hamsters inside the cage. If you take away those hamsters and you put them in separate cages, they are independent from each other. So, you know, practically we got to look at it, what's really happening. You know what I'm saying? Economic landscape for Black people has actually gotten worse when our families got worse. When our families got worse, more of us got herded into jail. Drugs. More of us got onto all of these dilemmas that we're dealing with now because of the destruction of our family. 89% marriage rates to now we at 40 something, 30 something. And they're finding out that it's not the Black man's fault. You know, Black fathers, there's more Black fathers out there that are willing to be fathers than they actually portray, or the, you know, that actual idea. You know, there's more of us out here trying to be fathers to our kids than the you know, and is essential to every child's life, whether it's a male or female. But they are changing the landscape of how our culture is supposed to look, and we're letting outsiders do that. We're letting Planned Parenthood and TV, you know, all of this agenda-based TV, tell us how we are supposed to live, and we have to turn off that box. I mean, I went to see that movie, Get Out, and you know, some of those analogies inside there were so deep. You know, as long as we sitting there watching that man and watching that tube, we gonna fall for it. We're gonna be victims because
it's interesting you brought that up about watching the TV, and don't mean to cut you off, but you know, subliminally, this is where they get to us. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, right? And I don't know no other way to put this, but to put it straightforward, I've noticed more and more commercials where they're subliminally pushing the fact. Now, I just want to put it this way. They're pushing the fact that you see a lot of Caucasian men with Black women. I don't know if you've noticed that. They got an investment commercial where they show the kids through every stage, right? They were classmates, walk into school together all the way through high school, and then you see them holding hands at an investment firm, meaning that they got married as they got older. I've seen a few others. Now, the problem with that is that this is what you're pushing now, right? They never push a Black man with their idea of what an American beauty is, which is a blonde hair, blue-eyed white woman. They never push that on TV. You hardly, I mean, I don't ever remember seeing that really that often on TV, on regular TV. Remember, you got to unmute your mic. You got to unmute your mic.
That car commercial with the girl, and the mother's in the back, she's crying, she watching some movie on her thing,
right,
in the car, and the white guy's in the car with her, and they like, you know, oh mom, everything all right? And she's like, oh, we there? Yeah. I'm like, you know.
Oh, right, that's another one.
So, and I'm like, you know, it's selling an idea that, right? And saw something on YouTube. It was very important. It was these two sisters, professional sisters. they have some type of network where they discuss black women issues, right? Both of these sisters were married to black men, got kids, whatever. And I think the topic was Serena. Serena got married to a white guy that owns an internet company. And from what internet company, the stuff on it. And people saying, "Oh, well, people were judging who she marries, la da da da, whatever the case may be." And saying with some level, basically not the same level, with empirical proof and evidence that there's an issue with marrying white men, that a lot of them are having, not because of the fact that it's something that they've there's different ideas, sexual practices that that white men and black women have noticed that white men have. You know what I mean? And it may come out with white men dealing with black women, and I can't give everything worth did, but they got deep and they provided some evidence based on some journals and different things of that nature. That and they're saying, this is their opinion, that this is something that they can't see themselves ever doing. Based on one, they are black people and they love black men. They came from black men, the same thing. Two, of what they're doing in mixed relationships has a lot to do with the fact that it may be more fantasy than than a practical relationship. So yeah, it's deep. A lot of that happening, but America's throwing what they want to throw at us. They want to throw that. They may want to throw homosexuality. They may want on the TV is okay. You live in a world where you are expected to be tolerant of what other people do, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, you don't have to destroy your character as an individual, your stance as an individual, to get along, to be, it's not an evil thing to have values. It's not an evil thing of the Torah and to enforce your standard of living. You know what I mean? Everybody in here has it, and if you're crying that people have a choice, then all choices should be respected. The choice to live a life by respected the same way you want me to respect what everybody else in the world is doing. Fair. So you often have to turn off those boxes. I dare to say that we live like Hasidics and don't know, but at the same time, you have to, with every type of media or anything that you get, you have to, what feeds you. And you have to know what to get, what goes inside your mind, or what's going to stay inside your mind, and what may be good for your mind or healthy for your mind. You know what I mean? And a lot of this stuff is not healthy for us, just in general. So we have to reconsider those things. We have to reconsider those things.
Well, okay. So on that note, I don't want to keep you up too long tonight. I know you got to get up and go to work in the morning. Got a long.
Yeah, I got to work on this promo tonight too. So look out for the promo. Hopefully, I get it done tonight.
Whenever you do the promo, make sure you don't put no industry beat, no industry anything. Because they're going hard on that on YouTube and Facebook and places like that. You can't even play it on it.
Yeah, because I know I did something before. Say I couldn't play it. They asked me a question about something before I did the link.
Yeah, it was that Mobb Deep beat.
It was some type of link with it. Then I did something with common beat, but I just do the instrumentals. But they said something about it was the It Ain't Hard beat too. They said something this whatever, But I use Creative License anything, so that's one benefit to it. But yeah, they make person complaints.
Right. No, I think automatically now they cracking down on YouTube with all the pirating. You know, everybody used to just download, rip the songs from YouTube, but now it's like you got to pay for them. I guess YouTube must have got a lot of flack because it was like file sharing. YouTube is essentially file sharing. If you could just, you know, they got these programs that you could convert YouTube to MP4s, YouTube to MP3.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
in a way, it's like file share.
That's all.
Right. Okay, so thank you once again, my brother. Once again, Valley of Dry Bone, March 19th.
And also, vendors, if any vendors are interested in getting tables, we have limited amount because it's a smaller space. Interested, hit us up. Me, Chief Uziel, Chief Binyamin, Rabbi Binyamin. He got 3 different. Also, we lost another person in the community just today, I believe. Rabbi Lewy, Rabbi Zikyahu Ben Lewy just passed away today, is what I heard.
Rabbi Eliyahu,
Zikyahu. Rabbi Zikyahu is also a member of in Queens, along with Rabbi Eliyahu. But Rabbi Zikyahu's Isha passed away. There's more information coming about.
Hold on, repeat that by me. You said Rabbi Eliyahu passed away?
No, Rabbi Zikyahu. Rabbi Zikyahu Ben Lewy. Ben Lewy. His wife passed. Rabbi Lewy passed. For our rabbi, it's a hard time. He lost his wife. I think they've been together for quite a long time. You know, I think he's like 70 years old. They've been together for quite a long time. So that's part of him is gone. So you know, let's keep the prayers up for the people that can still suffering loss. You know, it's important. Is we pray for our sick people who are going through struggle. Those of us who may be dealing with physical ailments and emotional and mental ailments too, because those are just as bad. You know what I mean? We got to pray for all of the nation, and we have to make sure that we pray for each other's well-being because we got. DCB.
Right.
We all we got. For real.
All right then, my brother. So thank you once again for coming on with us tonight. March 19th, once again, Restoration Plaza. Chief Binyamin, Rabbi Chief Binyamin and Chief Naphtali Ben Dan will be addressing the state of Black America. Should be good. Hope to see everyone there. Shalom, shalom. Right. And I'm going to just stop the broadcast, but stay on because I got to ask you one question, all right?
All right, cool.
All right. Shalom to everybody on YouTube. May the Most High God bless you all.